Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain a bit on something really critical, but often kind of unseen in Washington. We're talking about how Congress gets briefed on major events, specifically thinking about Iran strikes. We're looking at some excerpts here from CNN's reporting titled, Congress Briefed on Iran Strikes.
Mm. And our goal really isn't just to know what happened, but to, unpack why this whole process is important. What does it actually mean when Congress gets briefed on something this big?
That's exactly right. The focus here really is understanding the context, the implications when a briefing like this happens. These aren't just formalities. They're fundamental to how major national security events unfold, how information moves, and how accountability works or is supposed to work within the government.
Yeah, because the headline just says, Congress was briefed. It sounds pretty straightforward, maybe even a bit dry, like ticking a box. But what's really going on there? When we say briefing in this kind of high-stakes situation, what does that actually look like? Who's in the room? Right. It's definitely more than just reading a memo aloud. These briefings are structured sessions. You typically have high-ranking officials, maybe from the Pentagon, State Department, intelligence agencies presenting information, and crucially, the rationale for actions to lawmakers. But it's not usually all 535 members of Congress piling into one room.
Okay, so not everyone gets the same info dump.
No, definitely not. It's often specific committees, think House Armed Services, Senate Intelligence, folks like that. And for the really sensitive stuff, it might be an even smaller group, like the Gang of Eight. That's the top House and Senate leaders, plus the chairs and ranking members of the intelligence committees. So there's this tiered access. It's about balancing the need for oversight with the need to protect classified information, operational security.
That tiered access point is interesting. It's not just one big meeting.
Exactly. And importantly, it's not just a one-way street, or shouldn't be. Congress is there to ask questions, to scrutinize, to push back. That's the core of the oversight function. So, yeah, what's fascinating is that interplay between sharing information and demanding accountability.
Okay, so that paints a clearer picture. It's more dynamic than just being briefed.
Hmm.
So let's connect this back. What does all this mean for us, for people listening? Why should we care that Congress is getting these briefings, especially if a lot of the detail stays classified?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really highlights a fundamental piece of how our government is supposed to function, and that directly impacts you. These briefings are they're a key channel for democratic accountability, even if you don't hear all the details immediately or ever. Knowing that your elected officials are getting this information, that they have the opportunity to question the executive branch, to understand the reasons and the risks behind military action, that's a crucial check on power.
A check on power.
Right. Without that oversight mechanism, however imperfect it might be sometimes, you'd have decisions potentially being made in, well, more of an echo chamber. With less scrutiny, maybe less consideration for the broader consequences or even the legal justifications. That increases risks for everyone. So it really matters for the credibility and legitimacy of major government actions.
It sort of makes me think of like a big company, maybe. If one department, say R&D, is launching something huge, they can't just do it in isolation. They have to loop in the legal team, sales, marketing, right?
Yep.
Not necessarily give them every single technical detail, but make sure they understand the plan, the risks, the goals, so everyone's aligned. Is that a fair analogy?
That's actually a really good analogy, yes. And just like in that company, the legal team might raise a concern, or marketing might point out a potential public perception problem. In government, Congress hearing these briefings might lead them to raise similar flags, ask critical questions, maybe even signal that future funding or authorization could depend on certain conditions, so that back and forth, even if it happens behind closed doors, can shape policy. It's a vital part of the system working.
Okay, so when we hear news about Congress being briefed on something major, like these Iran strikes, it's not just a procedural step. It's actually a sign that this mechanism of governance, of oversight, is in motion. It's about ensuring elected officials are in the loop and can do their job. Understanding that process helps us see beyond the headlines, I think.
Absolutely. And maybe a final thought to leave people with, something to ponder. It really brings up this fundamental tension, doesn't it? How much information is actually enough for Congress to provide effective oversight? And on the flip side, how much can realistically be shared publicly or even within Congress while still protecting vital operational security in, such a fast-moving world? That balancing act is constantly being negotiated, and it's right at the heart of these high-stakes situations.